They thought the first attack would be enough. They were wrong. Because this time, their attackers didn't come to scare. They came to erase everything. Welcome once again to Tales by the Wordsmith, where we tell stories birthed and inspired from our lives' experiences, our laughter, joy, sorrows, and losses. Today, we tell a continuating story from a previous video. It is the story of the young soldier Obinna, who fights alongside his neighbors against an onslaught of northern extremists attacking them. It is a battle for survival, of courage and perseverance against the overwhelming odds against them. It is the story of when the night turned red.
The second wave did not rush blindly like the first. These ones came with purpose. They moved in formation, torches raised, shadows dancing wildly behind them. Their chants rose like a chilling rhythm echoing through the narrow street. The burning smell of petrol stained the air. Sparks from nearby fires drifted in the wind like evil fireflies. Obinna steadied his breathing. Adaora and the children were locked inside. Mama Obi was praying beneath her breath. Outside, the northern neighbors who stood by him tightened their grips on weapons, sticks, hunting bows, locally made guns, iron rods. Their eyes were wide, but none ran. Adaora shouted, "Obinna, they are flanking us. I see them. Hold your sides."
Obinna lifted his rifle and targeted the ground 2 meters before the front attackers. Dust exploded upward, causing them to pause briefly. Musa and Saidu hurled stones with practiced strength, striking several in the legs. But the attackers kept coming. A tall man from among them, face wrapped in a dusty turban, heaved a flaming bottle and hurled it at the compound's wooden fence. The explosion was violent. Fire licked upward, crackling hungrily. Zainab screamed, "They will burn us alive!" Obinna grabbed the metal water drum, overturned it, splashing water across the fence. The flames hissed, died halfway, leaving scorched black streaks. He barely had time to turn when, crash! A section of the side fence broke inward. 4 attackers squeezed through, machetes gleaming in the moonlight. Ado cried, "Back gate! Back gate!" But Obinna was already moving. He rushed them head-on, years of combat instinct guiding him. He didn't fire immediately. The distance was too close. One wrong shot could hit a neighbor. Instead, he swung the rifle like a staff, smashing the butt into the first attacker's jaw. Bone cracked. The man fell like a sack of cement. The second attacker swung wildly. Obinna ducked, swept his own leg, striking the man behind the knee and dropping him hard. Musa, bleeding from earlier cuts, charged with a shout, clubbing the third attacker with a thick stick. Saidu tackled the fourth to the ground. They held that breach, but only barely.
And then, from the road beyond the neighborhood square came the low rumble of engines. More motorcycles, at least 15, maybe 20. Their headlights sliced through the smoke-filled air like thin blades. On their backs, riders carried machetes, long daggers and torches. Some fired hunting guns into the sky, their pellets scattering across rooftops. The villagers screamed in the distance. Homes collapsed into flames. The attackers were expanding, sweeping like a violent tide. Obinna's breath tightened. They were surrounded on nearly all sides. A sudden frantic banging came on the compound gate. "Obinna, open! Please open!" It was Halima, the widow who lived 2 houses away, clutching her 2 children. Her hijab was half burned at the edges. Obinna rushed and opened the gate just enough. They slipped inside, and a machete blade slammed into the wood inches from his face. He shut the gate immediately. "They are burning our house," Halima sobbed. "They burned the Yakubu family. I saw them." Her trembling spread to her children. Adaora pulled them inside the main house, hiding them with the others. Outside, the attackers regrouped. "We end them tonight!" The leader raised his torch, shouting in Hausa, "Burn every house hiding Christians or Easterners."
Musa stiffened with rage. These fools,
They want everyone to suffer. They have no mercy. Obinna's teeth clenched. Then we protect our own. The attackers surged forward again, this time more focused, driven by frenzy. Obinna fired 2 precise shots, not to kill, but to stagger the front line. 2 men stumbled back, dropping their torches. Ado and Saidu rushed in with sticks, beating back those nearest. Still, they advanced. Obinna grabbed a metal rake leaning against the wall and thrust it into the path of an attacker swinging a blade. Sparks flew as metal struck metal. He twisted, disarmed the man, and kicked him hard in the stomach. The sound of chaos grew louder. A deep metallic clang echoed through the compound. The back reinforcement rod, the one Obinna set earlier, snapped under repeated blows. 5 men burst through. This time, Obinna fired 2 controlled rounds at the ground between them, sending dust into their eyes and forcing them to halt. Musa leapt from behind with a shout, swinging his stick so hard it broke on impact. Zainab shot an arrow straight into the thigh of an advancing attacker. Ado grabbed a metal basin and slammed it over another man's head. They fought like a desperate village, because they were. But they were tiring, and the attackers only grew in number. One attacker, unnoticed, moved along the wall's edge and climbed onto a cracked water tank stand. From there, he dropped inside the compound. Behind Obinna, silent, deadly. Adora, peering from the window, saw him descending behind her husband. Her voice tore through the night. "Obinna, behind you!" He spun instantly. The attacker lunged. Obinna blocked with his arm, but the blade grazed his shoulder, sharp hot pain tearing through flesh. He winced but didn't fall. Instead, he rammed the man sideways into the concrete wash area. The attacker's head struck the edge, knocking him unconscious. Adaura cried out, "Your shoulder! You're bleeding!" "I'm fine," he growled, but his shirt was darkening. His neighbors saw his injury and were filled with a kind of desperate courage. Saidu, panting heavily, raised his voice. "We stand together! Nobody enters this house!" They tightened their formation around the front yard, but the attackers regrouped too. Now at least 30 men approached the compound, torches blazing, guns firing sporadically, chants rising, fuel canisters clanging, dozens of footsteps pounding the earth. Obinna's heart clenched. They couldn't hold this forever. Somewhere in the distance, faintly, just faintly, he thought he heard the rumble of heavy trucks. Maybe soldiers, maybe salvation, but not yet close enough. The attackers charged like a black flood. Obinna inhaled deeply. "Everyone, fall back to the main entrance. Protect the house." They formed a curved defensive semicircle before the front steps. The clash was violent. Machetes swinging, stones flying, torches thrown, screams echoing. Obinna fought with his rifle like an extension of his own body, blocking, striking, pushing, firing warning shots, shouting commands. Musa fought like a younger man, his stick replaced with a metal rod. Ado, though wounded, grabbed broken bricks and hurled them at heads. Zainab shot arrows with trembling hands until her quiver was empty. Saidu held a plank like a shield, blocking blows meant for the children.
The air was thick with smoke and dust. Cries of pain mingled with fury. The compound was littered with fallen attackers, mostly injured, disarmed, and groaning. But more kept coming. Obinna staggered as an attacker kicked his wounded shoulder. Another swung a blade at him. He barely ducked in time. Sweat and blood dripped into his eyes. His ears rang. His chest burned. His limbs trembled. But he stayed on his feet. Then, a loud roar broke through the chaos. Headlights, bright, blinding, dozens of them. Then, "Military, drop your weapons now!" Gunfire erupted, this time precise, disciplined, echoing through Garintambaya with the authority of trained soldiers. The attackers were scattered like startled birds. Some dropped weapons and ran. Some fell. Some hid behind fallen motorcycles. Armored trucks screeched into the square.
Soldiers in full gear stormed out, forming lines and advancing rapidly. The attackers were overwhelmed within minutes. Silence slowly settled, heavy, smoky, broken only by sobs from distant survivors. Obinna swayed, exhausted. A familiar voice called out, "Sergeant Obinna, you're alive?" It was Captain Ezenwa, an old colleague. Obinna managed a weak smile. "You took your time. You held an entire sector until we got here," the captain said, stunned. "You saved this entire block." Obinna looked at Musa, Saidu, Zainab, Ado, his neighbors, stained with dust and courage. "We saved each other," he said softly. The aftermath. The fires were put out by dawn. Survivors were gathered. Wounded were treated. Garin Tambaya bore scars, burnt homes, shattered fences, dark smoke rising from rubble. But Obinna's compound stood. Barely, but it stood. His shoulder was stitched. His neighbors received care. His mother, wife, children, and Halima's family was safe. As the sun rose, lighting the village in gold, Captain Ezenwa stood beside him. "You know, you fought like you never retired." Obinna exhaled slowly, eyes on his family. "I wasn't fighting as a soldier. I was fighting as a father, as a neighbor, as a man who owes his home peace." The village would rebuild, the government would investigate, and the people, northerners, southerners, Christians, Muslims, would mourn together. But one truth became clear that day. Evil didn't care where you came from, but neither did courage. The end. That was the night everything changed. Not just for Obinna, not just for the village, but for everyone who learned that courage doesn't ask where you're from. It simply shows up. And if stories like this move you, if they remind you of who we are as a people, if they make you proud of the strength and unity in our communities, then this channel is for you. Because here on Tales by the Wordsmith, we tell African stories with heart, with truth, and with meaning. But I can't grow this movement alone. If you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, tap that like button. It helps more than you know. Share this video with someone who values unity, and subscribe so you become part of a growing family that believes in powerful storytelling. Every like, every comment, every share, it keeps these stories alive. And together, we'll keep telling the stories that matter. Thank you for watching. This is the Wordsmith signing out. Peace.